right? Because relevance to a dog is actually about survival. And that's at its core what all dogs are about. So if you've tried everything else, like training and treats and all the other things, and your dog is still struggling, maybe we need to look at it through a different lens. Understand that sometimes love isn't enough. Doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just means that we need to tweak some things. Yes, today on the podcast, we are talking about how sometimes love just isn't enough. Hey, listen, I know you love your dog, but there's another level we need to hit, and we're talking about it today. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it.
Hi, my name is Laurel, and I have a 2-year-old collie mix named Henry. A year ago, I was really struggling with Henry. I didn't understand him because he was so different and reacted, totally unlike any other dogs I've ever had. The last year with Tracy has totally changed the way I live with my sweet boy. I've learned so much about how my mindset influences his behavior. I'm learning to lead him by developing a strong relationship with him, not just treating him for everything. I'm beginning to understand his unique personality, his strengths and areas to grow in, and I can tell you that he is a different dog now. I still have so much to learn, but I'm grateful for Tracy's help and the community of others who have walked this journey with me in the Fearful Dog Framework.
Well, hello, my dog-loving friend. It is Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. Special thanks to Laurel and her beautiful dog, Henry, sharing her kind words about the Fearless Framework program. It really has been a beautiful experience. Laurel has been so kind and sharing her journey with us, because one of the amazing things about a group program like this is the community, is the fact that we are sharing not just our wins, because, I'm not about that. I'm not about that. Anybody who has ever worked with me knows that I will be the first one to tell you when things go off the rails at my house. I'm sharing video. I'm like, this thing happened. Because it's dogs, right? It's dogs. My life isn't always sunshine and roses. We have dogs that have toothy disagreements and things that I have messed up. I am like you, my friend. We're not looking for perfection here. So having a community to not only share our wins, but also have a community to fall back on when things get hard has been just such a brilliant and beautiful space to be, especially in today's day and age. So if you're somebody who is like, hey, I could use a community like that, because we all can, I encourage you to come and check it out. Come over to the beyondobedience.ca/fearless. Check out what the program is. There's a little cool video box that comes up with me. You'll see me holding on to Nike. She's being extra snuggly cute. It's adorbs. I didn't plan that. I just picked her up and then hit record, and that's what she did. She's adorable. Anyway, my point is, if you're not sure, you can ask me a question. Just click on that little video and ask me a question. We'll see if it's the right fit. It's not for everybody. It's not a good fit for everybody. It might not be the right timing, that sort of thing. But if you're curious, let me just ask. Let me know. Because we'd love to see you there. Again, come on over, beyondobedience.ca/fearless if you want to check out that incredible program. Today on the podcast, I wanted to talk about something that is a little bit hard. It's a little hard for me to talk about. But I think it is something that needs to be said. And I want to let you know, first and foremost, my friend, that I'm coming at this from a place of been there, done that. Like, been there, done that. This topic is hard to talk about, but it literally is like when love isn't enough, right? Why your dog is still struggling, why you're getting frustrated, even though you love your dog so much. And that is really, really challenging for us humans, because we love them at a level. You know what I mean? Like the level that it hurts. Like it hurts so much how much I love my dogs. It actually got me thinking. I'll tell you this story really, really quick. If you know me, you know that I am, I'm, very shy, introverted. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Admittingly, pathological people pleaser, perhaps something I'm working on. That kind of thing. And I would never ever like yell at anybody or anything like that. Never in a million years would I be like that, unless you mess with my dogs. And then another version of Tracy comes out. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, because you know what, like another me, like the alter ego of the shy introvert Tracy, like comes out, and or my kids, I should say that. I mean, well, also my kids, but we're talking about dogs. So if you do something to my dogs, you will see another side of me, like that will come out. And shout out to my bestest college buddy, Bud. We call each other Bud. She calls me Bud and she's my Bud. She might remember this story, but there was a time back in college when my bestest Bud and we used to walk our dogs together all the time. We were walking on a golf course. It was winter. I'm going to give you the Coles Notes version. There was a guy that was driving his truck with his dog running in front of him. This was his way of running his dog, was he would let the dog run in front of him. He would literally chase him with a truck. And I made comments about like how dangerous that was. He turned around and came back, and we were walking on the road part, which honestly there shouldn't have been anybody driving a truck there anyway, but I digress. The point is he came up behind us. I was moving out of the way, and I had Wally, my dog Wally at the time, and he had like a bad hip and all this stuff. And Wally was getting out of the truck's way when the truck started to go again, and he almost hit him, in the back end, which would have been incredibly painful for my dog. And then he kind of waved at us like, hey, thanks. And I gave him the finger. I'm not going to lie. Does he not stop his truck, roll down his window, and start cursing at me? And I literally, without even thinking, stood on his running board and climbed into his passenger window and was screaming at this man. And Jen was like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Like, I think Jen was more shocked than anything because she had never seen this side of me. And that guy was like, get out of my truck, you crazy, you know what? And I was like, you get out of your truck. And I had every intention of like, I don't know. Anyway, the point is, the guy drives off and Jen was like, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. That was the other Tracy. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm not proud of that, but also not sorry about that, because it was like, you don't mess with my dogs. Like you can call me names, you can don't mess with my dogs. Right? I love my dogs so much. And I know you know this and you feel this. And so this topic is hard for me because this is the time when when clients talk to me and they're explaining like all these things that are going on with their dog, and they don't understand because they do so much for them and they love them so much and they've done all these things, and I have to be the one to say sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes love isn't enough. It's not going to move the needle. The love that you have for your dog isn't going to move the needle. Doesn't mean that your dog doesn't love you. Doesn't mean that you have to stop loving your dog, obviously, but love isn't enough. And the idea here is that we have to take our love and our affection and also consider the more important thing, which is relevance. We aren't talking about you the dog needing to be relevant to you. And that's where most people get this wrong. Shout out, of course, to my amazing mentor, Nelson. I think this is something he brings up almost every month at his monthly classes, is that we get this wrong. As humans, we're constantly thinking that relevance is about making the dog relevant to us. And it's not that at all. Right? We think about, we have to train the dog to understand us. We have to train the dog to do these things because it's Humansville and all of these things. And we forget about the fact that at some point in time, to really understand and to make that bonded connection with dogs, we have to be relevant to them. It's different, right? Because relevance to a dog is actually about survival. And that's at its core what all dogs are about. So if you've tried everything else, like training and treats and all the other things, and your dog is still struggling, maybe we need to look at it through a different lens. Understand that sometimes love isn't enough. Doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just means that we need to tweak some things. Okay? So how does one become relevant to their dog? Well, we go back to survival. What is survival for a dog? The basics of survival, right? Shelter, food, water, sociality, right? Dogs are very social creatures, and it is part of their survival. Dogs understand that it is to their benefit to be pro-social, right? Pro-social meaning we're doing this for the betterment of the pack, the family, whatever you want to call it. If you're someone who gets offended by the word pack, this probably isn't the right podcast for you, but I would encourage you to hang out and kind of listen to what I'm saying, because the gobbledygook in the dog training world is, the noise is loud, you know? So when we're talking about it being survival, we want to ask ourselves, are we doing things like a dog would do it? Are we playing like a dog would play? Are we exploring like a dog would explore? Are we hunting like a dog would hunt? Are we seeking shelter the way a dog would seek shelter? Right? Survival-based thing. Remember my favorite quote from Dr. Bruce Fogel from The Dog's Mind is that a dog does not expect to be treated like a human. A dog expects a human to act like a dog. Let me say that one more time. A dog does not expect to be treated like a human. A dog expects a human to act like a dog because they only know how to be a dog. That's all they know. So they expect that you understand them at that level. And when you don't, sure, dogs are adaptable. They're incredibly adaptable. That's how they made it this far, this long in society. They have gone from, I don't know how many years ago. Nelson would probably shake his head at me because I should. He's mentioned it so many times. But they've been with us for so long. They went from, hanging out by the campfires, wondering whether or not these humans are worthwhile to follow, to ending up in Egyptian cotton sheets, in climate-controlled houses, eating organic food. Like, they have figured out how to partner with humans. And yes, obviously they are adaptable. But when we're talking about understanding them and being relevant to them, we need to understand them at that same level, right? So we want to ask, am I relevant to my dog? Pause for effect. Am I? Probably not. Probably not. Am I hunting like a dog? Am I seeking like a dog? Am I searching like a dog? Am I being like a dog? Right? And how do we start to do that? How do we start to do that? Well, first of all, shameless plug, you can come over to the Fearless Framework because we're talking all about that over there. We're talking all about that over there. We are doing all of the thing over there. We're doing video analysis and talking about how to partner up with a dog and all of that stuff at their level. But if you wanted to try an exercise on relevance, I want you to try the Be With exercise. Now listen, if you've been doing the Be With, I want you to know that there are different sort of levels to Be With. Okay, there are different levels. There's part of the level of Be With that I've talked about before is kind of the meditative exercise and awareness. And that's sort of getting some intel. When you're first starting to do this relationship stuff, I want you to sit down and I want you to just make some observations about where your dog goes and how they do it and what they do. But if we want to get into it a little bit deeper, go one level deeper, I want you to do sort of the relevance of Be With. And the relevance of Be With is actually learning to sit with your dog, be with them, be very, very quiet. This is, I don't want you talking. Don't talk. Remember, if you are talking to your dog, you're not listening to your dog. And if we want to be relevant to our dog, we need to listen to them. And listening to them means shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. We can't help it. We're chatty. We're chatty, 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 chatty creatures. But try being very, 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 very quiet. And I want you to sit with the dog and just start to listen and hear and see what your dog sees. Look where your dog is looking. Listen to the things your dog is listening to. And if you get right into this, and I'm telling you, you have to clear your head of all the other gobbledygook that's in our heads. But if you can clear your head for a moment, really be in this moment and start to listen, you'll start to hear things in the environment you've never heard before. Even if you do this in your house, you're going to start to hear house sounds that you never even knew you had before. You're going to start to hear the hum of lights. You're going to start to hear the sound of the refrigerator mix. You're going to start to hear things. Right? And I want you to just listen to what your dog's hearing, what you're going to find. And it's a magical moment. You're going to sync up with your dog. Suddenly, you're both going to turn your head at the same time at a noise. It's super duper cool. If you can do this outside too, it's even more super duper cool. Right? Sit outside in the yard and just observe everything. Start to hear nature. It's glorious. It's glorious. And trust me when I say, when you do this exercise and you get really, really into it and you start to hear things and you start to sync up with your dog, trust me when I say your dog will notice it. They will all of a sudden look at you and be like, you're hearing it, you're seeing it, you're smelling it. Like they'll all of a sudden go, you're with me now. You get it at this level. It is super cool. When you start mirroring them, it's magical. It's absolutely magical. Let me tell you another quick story, because this happened just recently. So I'm down at the barn, and I'm down checking the ducks, because very exciting news. I don't want to jinx it, but very exciting news. I'm waiting for ducklings. It's going to be so amazing. Are you following me on Facebook? You really should follow me on Facebook, because obviously when the ducklings come, there are going to be pictures of baby ducks. Who doesn't love a baby duck? I love a baby duck. Anyway. I love ducks. I'm weird about ducks. Anyway, that's not the point of the story. I go down to the barn, and I'm about to check on Randy, our female, who is currently on her nest, and she's being the best mama duck ever. And there's the barn cats are down there, the two males, and I first see Elliot, and he's neutered. We actually have Kitten, who is unneutered because he's a maniac and no one can touch him. We couldn't catch him. We haven't, it's a long story, but the point is we have these two cats. And I go and pet them and whatnot. Elliot was first there, and he was, being all affectionate. And then Kitten came up, and I was like, oh, and he kind of let me touch him, which was nice. I start to I finished the duck stuff, changed out the water, fed Randy, did all the things. And then I was walking back up, and as I was walking up, I hear a cat fight, and cat fight's the worst. So I'm like, oh boys. So I turn around and I go back down, and they're still sort of in the thick of it. I have to actually kind of there was a board on our path, and I took a board and I kind of put it in between the two of them, and I kind of scooted Kitten away. And Kitten, I will say his name is Kitten because, again, he wasn't a cat. We never named him. Like he was a kitten, and we just never we never named him. Anyway, I scoot him away, and I'm like, stop it, right? And Elliot is in the he had gone up the tree, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to make sure that he's okay. And so Elliot starts to come down, and he's sitting in its long grass, because it's like summer and there's long grass everywhere. And all of the sudden, I'm like, I got down really low, because I'm like, I don't think Kitten left. Like, you know what? I just had this sense. I'm like, he's still here. Like, he's lurking about somewhere, that cat, and he's going to come back and start a fight, because that's what Kitten does. And so I actually stopped, and I got down really, really low, and I sat on the ground, and I was looking at Elliot, and I'm looking at the long grass, and I'm like, he's in there somewhere. Like, he's camouflaged, but he's in there somewhere. And all of a sudden I got really, really quiet, and I just waited, and I saw just the slightest movement in the long grass. And I'm like, there he is, right? And Elliot and I both sort of turn and look, and I'm like, there he is. So now Okay, I don't want anyone yelling at me. I actually took like a tiny little rock and I just kind of tossed it up in the air beside where that area was because I wanted to startle him. And sure enough, he jumped up and then he kind of looked at me. I'm like, I knew you were hanging out. He was hanging out to start another fight. And I'm like, get out of here. And then eventually he left. That's the end of the story. But my whole point was I had this really cool moment of just getting down at the level and just watching the grass. And it was like, as soon as I saw it, was the tiniest movement, but I caught it and Elliot caught it. Like we both kind of turned. I'm like, there he is. But I did feel like I had gone into like, hunter mode. Like, I'm going to find that thing. I'm going to find that cat. And it was a really cool moment. Now, cats are cats. I don't really get the same connection from a cat as I do from my dog. If I had done that with a dog, they would have been like all in, like you and I did that. Elliot just kind of walked past me like, thanks for the help, and then left, like just catch you on the flip side. He didn't care. But if it had been a dog, it would have been brilliant. It just would have been brilliant. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to like find moments where you can just be there and can you get that mirroring effect? Because if you get that, that's a dog that is going to see that you see the same things they do. Our dogs walk through life thinking that we don't see anything, that we see nothing at all. We certainly don't smell anything. And there's so many good smells out there, but we certainly don't smell anything. So we lose relevance as we go through our day when we completely ignore them. We lose our relevance when we tell them to just be quiet when they're barking without going to check to see what they're barking at. We lose relevance when we just dismiss out of hand that obviously it's nothing. And I'll tell you this right now, I have come to understand that it's always something. Even if I never found out what it was, I trust that my dogs saw, felt, smelt, whatever, something, and I trust them now. That's how we start to become relevant to the dog. And as I mentioned before, if I'm being 100, it's a better way to live, right? All of these exercises that I'm getting to you, while they will build an incredible bond and relationship and relevance with your dog in a way that you probably didn't even think was imaginable. You're like, well, I thought I had a great relationship. This will take it one step further. It's amazing. And while I'm all about that, it is also good for us. It's great for us to let go of all of the gobbledygook that is going on in the world and just be back with nature. So do it for your dog, do it for you. Win-win. Win-win in my book. So there you go. Your dog isn't rejecting your love, right? They're not rejecting your love if they're acting out even though you love them. That's not rejection. That's just them in survival. And all you need to do is join them there. And that's it. Just join them there. And you'll see how incredible that bond will grow. So there you go. All right, that was 2 stories. You got 2 stories there for the price of 1. I wasn't planning on telling you the story of college, but it did make me think of it. Because I remember Jen just being like, where did that girl come from? Because I crawled in a man's truck. That's not safe. I don't recommend that. Anyway, I digress. I was young, too. Let's also put that in there. I was young. All right, my friend. I think that's it for today. Sometimes love isn't enough, and how to bridge that gap, the gap of relevance. Not working as hard to make the dog relevant to you, but to work hard to make yourself relevant to the dog and watch your relationship grow. Hey, if you liked this kind of thing, can you share it with another dog-loving friend? Share this episode. Tell your friends about it. Say, hey, check out this podcast. Good times will be had by all. Make sure you're over in our free Facebook group, Living Beyond Obedience. We're sharing pictures and stories and everything over there, Q&As and the like. And as always, get out there, my friend, and be the person that your dog thinks you are, because your dog thinks that you're amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.